Hello and welcome. Victus here. I'm a reseller for ProfitTrailer and PT Feeder, which is a ProfitTrailer add-on. I'm also on the support team for both of those products. If you want to buy the ProfitTrailer or PT Feeder, please see how to do so in the comments below. If my advice is helpful to you, please tell your friends about this video or at least my referral information, as I'm working hard to help you make better decisions. Disclaimer: I am not a financial advisor. Please don't use my advice for making financial decisions or for trading. Always do your own research or consult a licensed financial professional. Hi again, this is Victus talking to you today about automatic trading bots on the internet for cryptocurrencies, specifically ProfitTrailer and PT Feeder, which is an add-on product for ProfitTrailer. I see a lot of people struggling to use ProfitTrailer, and they don't know how all the knobs and levers work in the settings files, and therefore they cannot tune the bot themselves. Instead, they rely on settings that they've downloaded from other users on the internet. And sometimes those settings are good, and sometimes those settings are bad. It can really depend on what the market is doing. It's the 31st of January 2018, and if you've been watching this market at all for the last 3 weeks, it has been a pretty tough market. Bitcoin has been down. You can see on the screen here that it's about 10,100 right now, down a little bit over the last 24 hours. And we recently, about 5 weeks ago, hit an all-time high of over $18,000. So it's down quite a bit from that high, and that's put a damper on the market. There's not been a lot of money coming into the market, and it's just made things kind of slow. So if you don't know what your settings are meant to do, and you don't know how to change them, then you're kind of stuck. So what I thought I would do is do a quick video, maybe 5 or 7 minutes here. We can keep it to that, probably go longer, but talk about what are the big settings that you change, and I call them the knobs and levers. If you think of a big complex machine, what are the things that you can change quickly and easily to make the bot respond so you can see it and start to dial it in. All right, so let's do that. Let me talk about something about how the bot is set up first before we do that. And let me switch over to a different screen. I've talked about in the past where the bot is running in a terminal window. This is really the program itself running here in this very plain looking window, which I usually keep running in the background somewhere. And you have the user interface that we were looking at, which is just in a web browser. It shows up here. And then there are the settings files. And the settings files are here, and we're going to explore those for a minute. So here's my folder for one of my bots that is running, and I've got that off somewhere. I've actually got it in my applications folder on my Mac, and no matter which platform you're on, it has this basic structure in it. So let me collapse this for a second. So you've got here in the green are configuration files. So I've got those sorted by the other labels here. So application.properties, configuration.properties, and then inside the trading folder are the three that we're going to dig into a little bit today, which are DCA, indicators, and pairs. And this is where the heart of your settings are. They're going to change your buy and sell settings. And that's what we're going to look at. All right, let's change over to another screen. So what we have here on the right side is the ProfitTrailer Wiki. I'm very familiar with this document. I did not write it, but I have written and rewritten and edited a great majority of this document, along with the rest of my really great ProfitTrailer support team out there. Big props to them. They've done a great job with that. But I've taken on kind of a big responsibility to try to keep this thing up, to try to make it make sense, to try to structure it well, And so I'm going to use it alongside the settings files as we go in and talk about some of these knobs and levers today. All right, so I encourage you to come and use it. It's at wiki.profittrailer.io. Again, wiki.profittrailer.io. If you want to see it, it's in the description below, but that's where it is. And I have come down here into the setup files area here, and I've clicked on pairs.properties. Okay, so we're going to start there. Let me size this back down a little so that we can see both. So over here, what I've gone and done is opened up in a text editor. In this case, I'm using Xcode, but you can just use TextEdit, or if you're on the Windows platform, we recommend that you don't use your basic Notepad, but you download a free product called Notepad++. Again, Notepad with 2 plus signs after it, and you can search for that and download it for free. And it is an editor that won't automatically replace quotes with smart quotes and do other things like that messes up these settings files sometimes. So use Notepad++ on the Windows platform. And on Linux, you've got your basic terminal-based or graphical-based editors, depending on how you have your machine set up. So anyway, this is the pairs.property file, and this is the wiki guide. If you want an in-depth view of the pairs file, you can come into this video that we have posted here that was done by RF Radio. It's a 29-minute long, very good overview that you can just sit back, and he's going to go through all the settings in here and talk about them in depth. And I'm not going to go into that much depth, but I'm going to talk about big knobs and levers. So let's keep moving. All right, so in the settings here, you've got master settings, buy settings, and possible buy log settings. And we're gonna dive into those. Master, we don't need to talk about except for setting your market, which in this case is Bitcoin, and that's what I've got over here. This is my Binance instance on this side in the Bitcoin market. All trading pairs enabled equals all, or you can set it up for certain pairs. I like to set it, and this is my advice to you if you're just getting started out, or not just if you're getting started, but I do this all the time. I would pick the top 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 coins on a platform that you're going to trade. Research those, be comfortable with them, make sure they are not crappy, and make sure they have enough volume that you can trade them. I try to trade and stay in the top 20 or 25 coins, and those change from time to time, and I haven't gone back and looked at these recently, but you can see what I'm trading here. So ADA, ARC, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, Ethereum, EOS, etc., etc. So these are all, you'll see these in the top volume, and these are the companies that kind of have a great product that have been recognized as folks who are probably going to be sticking around. All right, let's see. So really, I'm not going to talk about anything except I will talk about this for you, those of you who are on Binance. I would use the BNB coin to pay for your trading fees. It saves you 50% of your trading fees right now, and they're going to change that at some point if you use Binance's own coin that they have. So you'll have to buy $20 worth or something, and then turn on in your Binance user interface. You'll have to turn on the trading in your settings area for BNB to use it for your fees. And then in here, you will have to add these lines in your pairs file. So you have to turn off trading on that coin, and then you need to BNB trading enabled equals false. So have I got that in there twice? I sure do. Yeah, I've got that in there twice. Sorry, I don't need this one. I'm going to take it out. There we go. So you have to turn trading off for it, and then if you want to, you can hide it. If you don't hide it, it's going to show up in your user interface on the browser in the, which one is that? Hang on, we'll go look. It's going to show up in the pending log. It will show up in here if you don't hide it. That's where it goes. So if you hide it, that's what it does, is just takes it out of view so that you're not worried about it. If you want to watch it and make sure that you know you've got enough of it, you can keep this all hidden pairs line out, or you can comment it out by putting a pound sign in front of it like that and then saving the file. Okay. All right. So we're coming down into the buy settings, and let's talk about how this works. So what I was going to do today was go in and change my buy strategy from the EMA gain, which I'm using right now, and I'm going to change it to low BB. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to comment out this setting, these settings here, and I'm going to uncomment these. All right, and I haven't saved it yet, so we'll save it in a minute. Actually, I think in this product it gets auto-saved, so when we switch over and look at the bot in a minute, it'll already be running low BB. But low BB is a great, simple buying strategy to start out with. Low BB, it means low Bollinger Band, and what the low Bollinger Band is there's a high band and a low band, and when you look at the low band as a buy signal, it says whenever the price of the coin is at or below the low BB, you should buy that coin, because the low BB and the high BB are kind of average boundaries that the price has been staying in over the last several periods that you've got set. So that's not a very good explanation, but I'm trying to stay kind of high level here, guys, so I apologize. What we can do in the settings file is change exactly where around the low BB the bot buys by changing the all buy value setting. And if you're in your bot and you can't get it to populate the possible buy log, which is again that screen where it shows all the coins that it's thinking about buying, and I'll flip over there real quick. So the possible buy log here. If this is empty, like it is right now, then you go, why is it not buying anything? And we see that all the time in the support group questions. Why I can't get my bot to buy. So what I suggest you do is whatever you've got set for your current strategy, come over and change it to low BB. You can just copy and paste these lines and comment the other section out. And then what you'll do is you'll take this big knob right here, which is the buy value, and you'll change it. So let me explain something. So all buy value equals 0 is the default. And that means it's right at the low BB line. If you want the bot to buy more aggressively, then you would set a positive value here. You would set all buy value equals 5, and that is 5% above the low BB line. If you're testing and you want to prove to yourself that the bot is working, then you can start to increase this buy value until pairs start to show up in your possible buy log. And I do this with clients all the time. They'll come in and say, I can't get it to buy, I'm confused, and we'll do this very exercise. So I'm taking you through it. So what I would say do is start out and put it at 10 and then save it and go look at the possible buy log. If you set it at 50, that is halfway in between the low and the high Bollinger Band, and that is actually at the average line. If you set it at 100, which you wouldn't want to do, but if you did, that would be exactly at the high Bollinger Band. So it goes from 0 to 100, starting at the low and going up to the high. If Bitcoin is down and the market is really down and everything is crashing and you don't want the bot to buy anything unless it's a big value, you can set this number to a negative percentage. So that just means buy below the low BB. And the lower you set it, the harder it is for the bot to buy a coin, because it has to be really far below its low Bollinger Band average, which is already below the middle line, which is at 50%, which is your simple moving average. So if you set it at -10, that would be 10% below. -20 is 20% below. If you want to get really conservative, you can do it at 30, and then it's only going to buy when it dips down. Remember though, if the market is really going down, then it may hit this and keep hitting this and keep going down, especially if all the coins are crashing and they haven't hit bottom. If that's the case, it's probably better to come up here and set trading enabled equal false and just let the bot rest until the market has turned. And there's some triggers down here that you can do that same thing with, that you can read about in the wiki over here if you want to do that in sort of an automated fashion. If I scroll down to the triggers area, you can do that. That's not what we're talking about here today, but I'm going to mention it so that you don't have to do this manually. All right, so back to all buy value minus 30. So my point there is, if you're seeing that you're buying coins and they're immediately going negative, then you know that you've allowed the bot to buy when things are going down and going down quickly. So maybe you want to come in and change this setting here. All right, but what we want to do today is we want to quickly get it to start showing some coins in the possible buy log. So I'm going to set it to 30. And I'm going to save it, and we're going to switch over to the user interface, and we're going to watch it for a minute. And this is Binance, and Binance does take a minute, so we'll see if something comes up. I'm also going to check and make sure that I have enough in my max pairs to allow it to do that. So let's see. Where is it? There it is. Max trading pairs is 5. We've already got 5. If you look here, max pairs, this setting looks at the pairs log and the DCA log and adds those two numbers together. And if you've got this many, 5, and you say max trading pairs is 5, it will not put anything in the possible buy log. So I'm going to change that to 10. I'm going to save it. Excuse me. And what I've done, if you've noticed, is I've switched over from the text interface over back to the config area in the browser, and I've gone in and I'm looking at this same file here. So right there, so you can see it's at 30. So look what happened. I set it to 10, and so I gave it room for 5 more slots to purchase, and immediately the possible buy log jumped up. And you'll see that it's got 8 pairs that it's looking at, and I'm actually going to change something real quick because of this. There's 4 pairs that it's already trailing against that it could buy pretty soon if I don't fix this. So give me a second. I'm going to change the buy value to 20 and see if that calms it down a little bit. All right. You'll see over here on the far right, you'll see that the buy value is 30. That's our old setting I just saved. So now it's just changed to 20. And we've still got 1 coin that's at 20. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to tighten it up just a little more because I don't want it to buy right now while I'm training you guys. That's not my goal. But I am showing you what you would do to tweak this. All right, now it's back to 10. It's already picked up that change, and I still got one that's trailing. So, all right, let's just go from here. So what we've done is we've gone in, we've used low BB, and we've told the bot, hey, buy something once the all buy value, or once the price is 10% above the low BB. And we use the all buy value setting to do that. So what we want to do now is say, okay, if that setting is something that we like, then, and we think that the market is up enough to leave that, then we can use that as our setting. But in our case, I'm going to go and be a little bit more conservative and set it to 5 and see what that does. Let's go back to the pairs log. Oh, not the pairs log, possible buy log. All right, we're going to watch for it over here on the right to change to 5 and see what it does over here. So there it goes. No, it's just going to buy BCC if it trails down. All right, whatever. What this is doing and what this is saying in the buy strat column is that there are these 7 coins that are close enough to where the price is close enough to the low Bollinger Band, within 5% above it in this case, that I'm going to watch these coins closely. Where it says false, that means that it is not at the point yet where it has reached the actual buy trigger, where it's not 5% above the low BB or less. And what we want with this one, what's going on with this coin, BCC, is that it has hit that trigger, and we're using the trailing feature, which is another topic, but now it's turned off. But what trailing does is allow the bot to watch, and if the coin price keeps falling, it will not buy it yet. It will wait until it falls far enough down and then blips back up on an uptick before it purchases it. So this helps you buy at a better price. All right, so let's go back over to pairs, and let's tweak that again as I scroll all the way past it. Back up here. Let's set it to 2. So this is only 2% above the low BB. I'm going to watch it change here in just a second. All right, there it is at 2. So they're all false. And essentially what you don't want to do is you don't want to set that anytime if you're using EMA gain or SMA spread or EMA cross or high BB or any of the other strategies that are available in ProfitTrailer, you don't want to go in and set it such that all of these are showing trailing. Actually, depending on the market, I would say that you wouldn't want to set it such that any of them are saying trailing. You would want to find that point at which it's close, or maybe even it's still a little bit far away, depending on which direction the market's going. If the market's going down, you definitely want these all to be false. If the market is going up really strong, it may be hard to catch it, but I still wouldn't advise setting your all buy value such that these turn to true. I would make sure they're still red, but that you have something showing up in the possible buy log. All right, if you go back into pairs, and if you change this back to EMA gain, let's just comment them out in here. See, the nice thing is you can do it right in the, you can do it right in the user interface. And then save, and then you see my all buy value for my EMA gain strategy is minus 0.41%. So that says when the price is at 0.41% of the EMA gain value or lower, then put it in the possible buy log. And then when the trailing buy is triggered, then go ahead and buy it. But if you'll notice that as soon as this changes, oh, it has shown up. I was going to say it's not going to buy because it was empty earlier, but I forgot we were at max pairs. So, all right, let's play with the setting here a little bit on EMA gain. Go back in, do the same thing, and let's set it instead of 0.41, let's set it at 0.61 and see if we're still having pairs show up in the possible buy log. I'm going to watch it for a minute, and there it just changed to minus 0.61. You see them all here. So when those start trailing, your buy value, your actual percentage of the all buy value will change, and it will show here. But right now they're at the limit and they're all false. So let's go back and tweak it one more time and find where that magic spot is, where it's kind of close. let's call it 0.47, dial it in a little bit. Okay, so over here on the right, the all buy value, nothing is, it hasn't changed, it hasn't recognized the change yet. It takes a second. All right, there we go. So you see the one here is already at 0.59 below, and it's true and it's trailing. So it is going to watch BCC. BCC clearly is going down. So let's go ahead and let's click on this and go to Binance and see what the heck is going on with BCC. We'll pull up the interface here in a second. All right. So BCC is trending down here. We can see that. It's at 0.1459. Its 24-hour high is 0.148, and the low is 0.143. And we're at 145? Is that the current? Yeah. So last tick was at 145. So that's something we want to be careful with. That since it's going down, I may not want it to buy there. So this is kind of an example of what you'd want to do to kind of make sure that your coins are set in a range that's good for you. It's up, it's, 0.6% from a 24-hour range, but still it looks like it's doing strange things. So it's down a little bit more, still trailing down. So you can either go in and create some individual settings for that coin, or you can take that coin out of your buy settings. You can take it out of here. You can comment it out. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just remove it like this, and I'll paste it in here, and then save. If I don't want it to buy right then, if I'm watching it that closely. The other thing you can do is you can come in down here in the bottom area, in the coin area, and you can read in the wiki about how to set these buy and sell settings for an individual coin. So you might want to set that one a little lower. But we're going to switch back, and we'll notice that BCC is now gone and nothing else is below the 0.47% from the EMA gain setting. All right, I think that's probably enough. That gives you an example of how to move a couple of the big knobs. No, I'm going to go over one more thing before we leave. I'm going to talk about, back on the other screen, some of the other settings that you have to keep an eye on. Going back up to the top here, if you look at the possible dialog settings, there are some other things that affect what is going on in the bot. As I mentioned a minute ago, you're not going to get anything in the possible dialog if your all max trading pairs is already maxed out. Like I said, you total up the items that are in your pairs log and your DCA log to measure that. So if you've already got 5 or 6 things in those 2 logs, and you want to use all max trading pairs, again, which I recommend you do to control how many pairs your bot is buying, then you may need to loosen that up a little. Same thing with the all mid buy price. You want to set it to ignore low value coins, and if the coins that you're trying to buy are all very low value, then that could affect those not showing up in your possible buy log. The all max buy spread is another one. That's the spread between the lowest ask and the highest bid price to allow an order. If you've got a really high spread, you probably don't want to be buying that coin. It means there's not a lot of value, not a lot of volume in that coin, or there's just too high a gap between the bid and the ask, and you probably want to stay away from it until that changes, and they do change very dynamically. The all min by volume. This unit here is whatever coin you're using. If you're using Bitcoin as your trading unit to buy and sell other coins with, this would be 500 Bitcoin in a 24-hour period. So you would set that at the lowest volume that you were comfortable with, then I would say keep it at 1,000 or higher, depending on which exchange you're on. If you have that set to 0, it will buy any and every coin of any volume, and a lot of times that includes very low volume coins that someone might pump, you might buy, it might crash, and then you can't get out of it. Amend by balance is making sure there is enough of that coin on the trading book for you to buy it, and this explains only buy if the bot will not. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. That's another one. This is the buy balance. You want to keep a certain amount of balance in your account so that it will not go below that. So in this case, it says keep at least half a Bitcoin in your account. Buy balance percentage, very similar. It uses a percentage instead of a set amount. It's a nice thing to have if you want to keep a balance in there. The buy available volume trigger. This is the same. This is what I was talking about a minute ago. What was this? Minimum buy volume. Only coins with a minimum volume of specified amount. And the buy available volume trigger. That's one that allows it. Oh, I got it. This is the one I was talking about a second ago, that it says if there's enough of the coin in the trading book, only buy it then. So please read the details on that one. Sorry, I'm stumbling around trying to go quickly. All right, those are the main things that can stop you also from adding things to your possible buy log. They are in the wiki. Come back and read them in more detail instead of stumbling about like I did here. I apologize for that. But again, if you're getting frustrated, you got the big knobs of the strategy, the low BB over here, and the buy value. And then you've got the wiki, which can help you understand what all these things do. And there's also a video from RF Radio, which goes through these things as well, which is very helpful if you don't like to read or if you want more explanation on top of the reading. All right, we didn't keep this short, but I think it was informational. Please look in the description at the bottom of the video, and I appreciate your time and attention.